So it's interesting because, you know, he just said that no one knows what the future is bringing, but I actually do, and I'm here to tell you. So NFTs in the spatial web. Spatial web is coming. So what is the spatial web? The spatial web is basically the next evolution of the internet. Deloitte in 2020 termed it the next era of computing and did a big report on it. It is literally the next evolution of the internet protocol. You know, right now we are in a Web 2 environment, Web 2.0. HTTP, HTML. The protocol is evolving to HSTP and HSML, Hyperspace Transaction Protocol and Hyperspace Modeling Language. And what that's going to do is bring complete interoperability with the convergence of all of Web3 technologies, all of the extended reality technologies, AI, AR, VR, and all of the Internet of Things. Over the next 10 years, trillions of sensors are coming online. And then distributed ledger technology and robotics and machines. So all of that comes together with this common formatting language now for the next evolution of the Internet. And to that point too, the IEEE is the largest core standards body in the world, and they create core standards for any public technology that's going to be used on a global sphere. So nuclear energy, Wi-Fi, Ethernet. They deemed the spatial web protocol a public imperative a year and a half ago. So this is all well underway. This isn't something that's just now starting, but it's coming to the public this fall, so get excited. So what are we talking about? We're talking about going from a library of web pages, right, to now a library of spaces, a web of spaces that incorporate the physical, real world, the digital twins, augmented reality, and virtual spaces. And every person, place, or thing within any space in any reality, and it tracks all of the conditions over time. So we're talking about like the who and what is authorized to access a domain in a space. What content or data is available to view. Who can publish or modify content? Who can transact with the content within it? HSTP is a query language and a gatekeeper. HSTP gives browsers the ability to link spaces with an ID for every person, place, or thing in any space in any reality. Much more than a location identifier, HSTP is a gatekeeper, allowing various parties the ability to agree on who, what, where, when anything is in any space, and who has access to it, and what can be done with it. HSTP is multidimensional. It allows for query over multiple dimensions, identifying and localizing and updating the conditions in real time, all of the contingencies of objects in space. If it can be defined and calculated in the realm of natural or digital science, it can be searchable through HSTP. HSTP is stateful. Users and smart assets can be transferred or relocated between spatial domains anywhere across the spatial web. HSTP allows for hyperporting between web spaces by allowing hyperspace links to be placed in one web space that links to any information about anything to any other web space. So it's the glue that's bringing all of these technologies together and creating a space for interoperability. So how does it do this? The formatting language for the protocol is called Hyperspace Modeling Language. And it's basically a cipher for context. It bakes context into every person, place, or thing, every object in nested spaces, and you know, all of the relationships and all of the interrelationships between those objects. So the spatial web, Web 3.0, It's a library of spaces that contain objects, people, places, and things. These objects do things, and they change over time. The context or circumstances that govern these shifts and changes, it's the most important factor if we're going to consider how we understand how the objects relate to each other, to the people, and to their environments. HSML becomes the smartest contract around. The only way to create a truly augmented existence is to be able to consider and measure the contextual elements that affect the expression of shared information by and between all objects in space. So you can say that anything that happened can be broken down into an actor performed an activity to an asset in a space over time. And that is what HSML bakes into everything in any space. So this new network of everything is going to have context baked into every interaction between every single thing. It's known as computable context, and that's what HSML was made for. So you're talking about the where and when of anything, the locations, the activities, the identities, authority, credentials, rights, users, owners, ownership. So then we get a network of smart spaces in the spatial web. So it's bringing real world, digital twins, and virtual reality all together in the same sphere on the same unified system. And then in that space, when you're talking about NFTs, NFTs can easily transport from one space to another between metaverses. NFTs representing real-world assets are linked to the digital twin. And all over the globe, digital twin cities are being built right now. This technology is being used in Europe with 8 countries that are working together to use the protocol to develop the laws around drone delivery, autonomous vehicles. Like, this is already well underway, and it's launching to the public this fall. So the benefits of NFTs are extended in the spatial web. Real-world assets linking to the digital twin. Fractionalized asset-backed real estate, brand products, real world and digital, and this tracks it through the whole factory process from raw materials all the way to distribution, and can have the digital twin asset associated with it. Augmented reality, proof of ownership, proof of authenticity, gamification, commemoration, data security, liquidity, automation. So what are the benefits of contextual computing? HSML, as I said, it becomes the smartest contract around. Within the spatial web, you have self-sovereign identity baked in because everything has a digital ID. And it allows for zero knowledge proofs. Exponential increase in data points with IoT to develop augmented reality possibilities, and interactivity. And that's the thing, is this next evolution of the internet, our worlds become augmented because there is a digital twin of everything. You become a digital twin. Every object in this room becomes a digital twin within this space with context baked into programmed into the space and into the object. So the programming language is used to define, describe, categorize distinguishable and evolving traits of any user, object, activity, or protocol in any environment, either real or virtual, and all in real time. That allows for adaptive intelligence automation, security through geo-encoded governance, and multi-network interoperability, enabling all smart technologies to function together within a unified system. So that leads to AI, artificial intelligence. Within this new network, it is powered by a type of artificial intelligence called active inference. Artificial intelligence versus AI is a company that is launching a operating system on top of the spatial web this fall. They've got Carl Friston, who is the #1 neuroscientist in the world, as their chief scientist. He developed active inference AI, and when he saw what Verses had created with the protocol, he's like, oh, that's the real world model that we need to be able to get to artificial general intelligence and artificial super intelligence. So the difference between the AI that you'll see within the spatial web and machine learning models is that the machine models, they take vast amounts of data and try to predict accurate outcomes. The spatial web, everything is made smart with the protocol, so you have small amounts of data that become smart. Am I running out of time? Okay, so I have POAPs to give out to you out in the hall. It'll give you early access to what Verses is launching this fall with their operating system. That the operating system has an AI app store that you'll be able to create your own AI app. It's a low-code, no-code SDK, and you can be one of the first to jump on. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.